Maxim magazine at that time, and I held up her magazine saying that I was doing research for this interview, and she did not find that funny, which I thought was difficult because how does she not have a sense of humor about this?
Because she's Russian.
Is that what it is?
Well, I don't know.
I find
I'm
Russian
taking a
people
guess.
to be happy people.
But you forget, like, someone, like, she's Anna Kournikova, you see her on TV, and everybody thinks she's a hot piece and all that, and then all of a sudden you crack a joke and you realize, oh, yeah, you're from fucking Siberia. Your parents stood in line for bread.
Right.
And now you're going like, hey, I've done research. Like, maybe she took it literally like maybe it wasn't a joke to her at all, like you're doing research.
It was the greatest.
She's from a country where they go, can I see your papers? I don't know why there was a Mexican in the middle of Russia. Can I see your papers? Mira, mami, ven acá, ¿qué pasó? Where are your papers?
It was incredible, Jay. I mean, I'd love to do that event again.
Was she
unbelievable?
A bad tennis player, or was everyone so good around her?
Because let me tell you, here's the deal, and it's just like this way with any major sport. Golf, perfect example here. Everybody can hit the crap out of the ball, and everybody can hit the green. It's just that how close can you get the ball on the green to the hole, and can you putt? That is the difference between being a pro and a great pro. And she could do things that got her into the level of professional tennis that she achieved. She just couldn't do the other things that could make her great. It's just that simple. Now, some of it's mental.
Is it hard?
Some of it could be physical. Absolutely could be that. It could be like all she wanted to do was be a star. She didn't want to win.
Oh, really?
It could be that. I don't know. I never really got into it.
Like Roddick and Nadal, like those guys will die on the court. Like you've seen them blow out knees and keep going. And
there are some people who truly want it more. It's that simple.
Like Michael Chang didn't want it so bad. He got it. He had a sniff.
I would disagree because he had
it.
Well, he had it. The fact that he had it at all with his stature and how he was a tiny little guy.
Well, if you're going to make fun of Asians on this podcast, there's the door, buddy.
Oh, come on now. I mean, seriously, he was like 5'6".
Our tennis players, I've never met one in person. Are they usually large men?
They're some of they just get bigger. It's unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah, the women too. They're huge. Huge.
Why do you think, personally, and I'm not saying this because of their looks at all.
Okay.
I'm saying truly, women's tennis, to me, and I think to most people, is infinitely more exciting than men's tennis because there's always bizarre rivalries.
It could be that. Or it could be the grunting. Could be that too, JJ.
Well, the guys grunt too.
No, well, not in the same way.
But you have to
Sellis
admit,
had that high-pitched grunt. I mean, my gosh.
Sellis got stabbed in the back. What else do you have to do to sell a sport? A guy walked out, and where was security when a guy just walks to the middle of the net with a fucking kitchen knife, and he left it in her back? You could have hung a coat on it 10 minutes after the fact.
You're terrible.
You could have went on there and said, you know what? I got no place for my security jacket.
That is nuts. That's crazy. But
where was that? Wimbledon?
No, I think it was in Germany. It was just some match. No, that was not at a major.
And that guy's free. He's out.
That was not at a major. I loved it, man. I love tennis. It's great. Seriously, I watched the Djokovic Nadal Australian Open final that started at midnight around here, and it was still going on when my kids woke me up the next morning.
Djokovic?
Yeah, he's incredible.
He's like Slovenian.
He's number one.
Is he Slovenian? Serbian?
No, I believe he's Djokovic. Yeah, he's Serbian.
So he's
Serbian
the new
because Vlade Divac was in his box.
Vlade Divac.
It wasn't Kukoc in there. It was.
I see him at the ATM.
By the way, I do the same thing. Whenever you hear Vlade Divac, you always have to do the Lawrence Tanter's Staples Center. Vlade Divac.
I hate that guy.
Why?
I don't. You know what? Let me take that back. I never met the
man.
How
do you hate a public address announcer?
Because when I go to a game, I want to get fired up. You go to a Knicks game, they're like, Patrick Ewing!
Yeah.
And this guy, it's like he's doing a boat show or an RV show at like a giant, like, Shaquille O'Neal to the line, 2 shots.
I love that, though.
2
The best ever was the Zinc in Philadelphia. Zinkoff. You ever remember him?
No.
Julius Erving.
That's how it should go.
He was great.
John Starks.
That's right.
Derek Harper.
I'm not a fan of that guy because the guy used to do it in Madison Square Garden was the all-time great. His name escapes me, but Bob Shepard is obviously the greatest public address announcer of all time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner with Rosemary Clooney. 240 pounds.
We were just talking about this the other day because my son is, for some reason, into the Macarena all of a sudden. And I remember, because my wife...
The 22-year-old?
Yeah, the 22-year-old who really looks like he's 3.5. And for some reason, he loves the Macarena. And my wife looked at me the other day, and she goes, how the hell did that become so big? And I said that it became so big, I remember there was a Macarena night at Yankee Stadium where in between innings, Chita Rivera would get on top of the dugout and lead the entire stadium in the Macarena. And my favorite Bob Shepard moment was, ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. We call your attention to the top of the Yankee dugout, where Chita Rivera will lead us all in the Macarena.
He was asked once what his favorite names of all time were to say.
Barbaro Garbe.
Mickey Mantle.
Wow.
Odd,
Mickey
I
Mantle.
thought. It just seems easy, but he
Well,
loved...
it's alliterative.
Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
Number 7.
Oh, yeah.
And Shigetoshi Hasagawa.
Shigetoshi.
Now pitching for the Mariners,
Hasagawa.
number 55, Shigetoshi Hasagawa.
Barbaro Garbe.
He taught speech
at
St. John's University. And the story goes,
Genius.
the first day of class, it would be packed, like they had to have an auditorium for it because everyone signed up. The second day, there would only be like 8 people. So it would go from like 400 to 8, literally to 8 because everyone signed up just to hear Bob Shepard say their name.
Why not?
Because he would take roll call and he would go, Rich Eisen.
Let me tell you something.
And then you'd get all like, oh my God.
Jay,
and then you'd be like, I'm out of here.
JJ, let me tell you, I hosted a show called Baseball Today on Sundays on ESPN. They started, I don't know if they still do it anymore. They probably just call it Baseball Tonight. But every Sunday morning, they decided to do a show to get you set for Baseball Sunday in the same way that the NFL did. They tried it out. And what they did is they had a public address announcer from each different team say the names of everybody to open the show each week. They finally got Bob Shepard to do it.
Nice.
And I heard him say my voice, and one of the neat things that I have at home was the piece of paper that they gave him, because he required, obviously to read it off like all these public address announcers do. A piece of paper and his notes to make sure, because he didn't know if it was Rich Eisen or whatever, he wrote the phonetic spelling of my name on it, and I've got it framed. Absolutely. No question about it.
We have similar stories.
Rich
My wife...
Eisen.
Yes.
Fantastic.
What's your favorite number?
Number 2.
Now batting number 2.
Well, number 23 from Mattingly. Mattingly's my all-time favorite.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Bro, you're
he
preaching
should
to the choir.
It's absurd that Ron Santo, because he had his fucking leg amputated from diabetes.
Dude,
Let's call a spade a spade here.
You say
Ron Santo's in the Hall of Fame because he was an amputee and he died.
No,
then why didn't they put him in when he was alive?
I don't know.
Look at the game tape. Ron Santo is not a Hall of Fame baseball player. It's not the Hall of really good players.
Hey,
Don Mattingly, every year for a decade, people said, who will be MVP? Will it be Wade Boggs or will it be Don Mattingly?
I know.
Who will win the batting title? Will it be Wade Boggs or will it be Don Mattingly? That is a Hall of, or maybe Eddie Murray will sneak in and grab one.
One of the greatest of all time.
I saw and you saw Don Mattingly start a double play and the throw would come back before his fucking back was turned.
He's incredible.
Like a wide receiver when before they break the route.
The greatest. I love that guy.
He has to be in, right?
I think so.
It's absurd. I mean, they made
But
Andre Dawson wait.
biased.
Who's better, Andre Dawson or Ron Santo?
Oh, there's no question about that.
Right?
Of course.
Please say Andre Dawson.
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know. Do you think
No.
Ron Santo is a Hall of Fame baseball player?
You know what? He deserves to be in. I think he deserves to be in. I don't know his stats off the top of my head.
If he had both of his limbs
you're terrible.
below the... I'm not terrible. If he had both legs and right now was walking
around...
So
are you saying that Mattingly needs to lose a limb to get into the Hall of Fame?
If he lost a limb, they'd put him in?
Dude, that's
the guy has
ridiculous.
like 1% of the vote.
It's
like he's
so
not
tough
even...
to see him in a Dodger uniform.
That's why I love the Dodgers. When they
really
tore down
good.
Yankee Stadium, I said, this is not cool. I can't get on board with this.
Right.
But then right when they tore down Yankee Stadium, the Dodgers were always my National League team. Don Mattingly and Joe Torre came to me.
I know.
I said, hey, this is great. We'll set up shop.
I know.
Dodger time.
I don't blame you.
You did stand-up comedy, and
I did.
we need to talk about this.
Sure.
How long did you do stand-up comedy?
3 years.
And why did you stop?
Because 2 things. One, I went on the road, and I got paid like $40 and a cheeseburger to do it in front of 6 people, and it was really difficult. I did that for 2-3 weekends.
But the chicks, Richie.
Jay, there wasn't.
The chicks.
JJ, no chicks. There were no chicks. It was a bleak scene to say the least. And then all the other comedians that I'd want to hang out with afterwards, they were humorless. I swear to you, they were miserable people. And here's a perfect example. I would just joke around, say something funny, And instead of them laughing, they would look at me and say, I swear to God, are you going to use that? And I thought to myself, this is misery. This is absolute misery. I can't, I don't think I could do this. So
There's construction going on outside the studio here at Fake Mustache Studio. So
I know that.
You can save your tweets. What's going on? Well, there's construction. We're sorry. We didn't soundproof the studio.
Not yet.
That's life. Somebody once said, how come we didn't credit the bird chirping over the Barry Cats podcast? Because we had the doors open.
People
there was a lovely bird
all the time, but at any rate. But yeah, I just couldn't do it anymore. But I loved it. It's made everything else I've ever done in my career easier because nothing's tougher than that. Nothing.
I know. Well, see, I used to go on the road. I did Millard Fillmore's bowling alley
in Staten Island
for free. And I remember getting heckled by Chuck Wepner, the Bayonne bleeder. And I told him, and I was in high school, so I was wrestling at 130 pounds. I was super skinny, and I had my Jason Priestley hair, 1987 or so.
Millard Fillmore's.
I said, hey, Wepner, I swear I'm going to kick the shit out of you if you don't sit down and shut up. And it was like one of those moments like he's either going to attack me or everybody's going to go, you got balls, kid. Right. And fortunately, they said I had balls, and I thought I had the audience. And then you hear somebody get a strike behind you because the bowling alley. Right. And everyone's like, all right, yeah, beers on me, Jimmy. I happen to know that your closing bit, which I wish I actually sent Corey, president of FakeMustache.com, out to the stores to find a Penthouse magazine. But
you couldn't find a Penthouse magazine?
Could not find one in the Palisades. You know what? That's one thing to be said about living on the west side of L.A.
Clean living.
There's no Penthouse out here. What are you, a degenerate? Go get some gas. Come back in for cigarettes.
That's right. You're going to go to the local mom and pop and ask for a Wee magazine?
Yeah. Could I get Cherry?
That's right. You have a Penthouse form?
I need over 50. Do you sell over 50 magazines? Do you sell over 50 magazines?
That's right, over 50.
The best one I ever saw in Manhattan, there was a black one, and it was called Damn Girl.
Was it?
That was the name, but I haven't seen it since.
Was there a comma between damn and girl, or just an exclamation point? What was the punctuation?
I don't know.
No. You weren't paying attention to the syntax.
Damn, girl! Yeah. You did Howard Cosell reading Penthouse letters, and someone, I forget who, I think it was somebody at the NFL Network went, if he's doing your podcast, surprise him with that. And I wanted so bad to hand you a Penthouse letter.
I have not done that. I can't tell you how long it's been since
Can we find one online?
Oh, God, no. Come on, man. I still have a job to do.
And we'll talk for other stuff. We'll talk about other stuff. You were the sports anchor in Redding, California.
Yeah.
Where's Redding?
Redding, California is about 4 hours south of the Oregon border. Probably about 3 hours south of the Oregon. It's about equidistant between Sacramento and Oregon.
So why don't they just get Sacramento's news? That always fascinates me that like Santa Barbara has their own news desk.
Hey, man, it should. Local news should be supported. It should be supported.
Yes? Well, this is good that you're saying
Absolutely it should. And the thing that I feel horrible about is people keep saying, the ESPNs of the world, of like they're like the Walmarts of sports journalism.
Walmart is awesome.
That news directors cut sports first, and there are high schools that I covered up there, and community colleges and junior colleges, where, by the way, Aaron Rodgers came from. He came from Butte Community College. He was found by Jeff Tedford at Cal up there. His career started from a junior college. Tons of people do that. It's so worthwhile, the sporting communities up there that deserve their coverage.
I love
this. Yeah, it's the truth.
Richie.
And that's what I did for Redding, the Redding Chico market. And I lived in Redding, California.
Chico, California,
yes.
Home of Chico State?
Correct.
And you covered Chico State athletics?
I did. I covered one baseball game.
Did you ever get nominated for, say that again?
I covered one baseball game at Chico State.
Why one?
Because I was based in Redding, and it was a schlep. So I covered mostly Redding sports. And the Chico market, there was like some stringer down there, probably with a video camera that would shoot the video and send it up. And I would, I one-man banded, and I had a 3/4-inch camera, this big, huge-ass camera that was attached to this huge-ass deck that I had to wear
on a... Steve Sable of Redding.
And it was it was like I had the 3/4-inch camera on my right shoulder, and then the deck on a strap, sort of like this large pocketbook on my left shoulder, and it was attached by this huge, thick coaxial cable. And I had to shoot my own stuff and go back and edit my own stuff and then put it on the air. And it was some of the most fun I ever had. It was awesome.
How do you get the job there?
How did I get the job there?
From Northwestern?
Yes. Well, I mean, when this is a perfect example for people who are out there who are looking to get work or trying to get started. What you do is you take a group of small market stations in an area that you wouldn't mind living in, and you go and you take your tapes and you throw them in the back of a car, and you go and you crash the news station. Make sure you just don't do it around news time, because nothing indicates to your future boss that you have no freaking clue about their business than showing up like an hour and a half before news time and say, hey, do you got a minute? So I would see, like, do they have a noon news show? No, they don't. So I would show up between 11 and 1, and I would sit in the lobby.
I
drove. Yes, I sent my tape before.
Across country. All
she wanted to do was be a star. She didn't want to win.
Oh, really?
It could be that. I don't know. I never really got into it.
Like Roddick and Nadal, like those guys will die on the court. Like you've seen them blow out knees and keep going. And
there are some people who truly want it more. It's that simple.
Like Michael Chang didn't want it so bad. He got it. He had a sniff.
I would disagree.
So where are your papers?
It was incredible, Jay. I mean, I'd love to do that event again.
Was she
unbelievable?
A bad tennis player, or was everyone so good around her?
Because let me tell you, here's the deal, and it's just like this way with any major sport. Golf, perfect example here. Everybody can hit the crap out of the ball, and everybody can hit the green.
You crack a joke and you realize, oh yeah, you're from fucking Siberia. Your parents stood in line for bread,
right? And
now you're going like, hey, I've done research. Like maybe she took it literally like maybe it wasn't a joke to her at all. Like you're doing research.
It was the greatest.
She's from a country where they go, can I see your papers? I don't know why there was a Mexican in the middle of Russia. Can I see your papers? Mira, mami, ven acá.
It's just that how close can you get the ball on the green to the hole, and can you putt? That is the difference between being a pro and a great pro. And she could do things that got her into the level of professional tennis that she achieved. She just couldn't do the other things that could make her great. It's just that simple. Now, some of it's mental.
Is it hard?
Some of it could be physical. Absolutely could be that. It could be like Maxim magazine at that time, and I held up her magazine saying that I was doing research for this interview, and she did not find that funny, which I thought was difficult, because how does she not have a sense of humor about this?
Because she's Russian.
Is that what it is?
Well, I don't know. I'm
Russian
taking a
people
guess.
be happy people.
But you forget, like, someone, like, she's Anna Kournikova, you see her on TV, and everybody thinks she's a hot piece and all that, and then all of a sudden